folks, thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all doing okay today. If you like the stuff I've been talking about, give me a subscribe, like, share, comment, hit the notification bell if you want to know when stuff goes up. I didn't really record a lot toward the end of the week because I had an idea that's been kind of rolling around in the back of my mind that I wanted to get a little bit more formulated before I started talking about it. And the gist of it is, okay, I'm not going to say that either side on this specific debate is right. But here's where I see it going. With Parler getting taken down, and I already spoke a little bit about that in a previous video. Shortly after that, there was a interview conducted, I don't remember who was speaking, on CNN, where one of the people in the interview or doing this particular broadcast had actually said something to the effect of, Fox and all these other alternative/conservative media outlets do have the right to freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean that Comcast and AT&T and Dish have the obligation to play their programming, essentially stating that it would be okay for these cable television and satellite television providers to deplatform news networks that the companies may or may not disagree with just based on social pressure. And Amazon Cloud Services did take down Parler. I've got opinions on that. I don't think that any call for violence on any platform on the internet should be tolerated, but the content moderation of social media platforms is a ridiculous job to do. Facebook's got over 1 billion people on it. I don't remember the exact stat, but suppose every man, woman, and child in North America had a Facebook. That's 40 million people right now. And that's just in the United States. So Facebook has to comply with all the cyber laws of the United States, plus the rules that it sets down in its own terms of service. And content moderation, if everyone made one post a day that was um, 100 words on average, that's a ton of content moderation. And that's not getting into memes and videos and links that might be shared on Facebook, things like that. So the amount of work that it would take any platform to moderate their content to any standard that they choose to keep is nearly impossible. Now, sure, you can report something and whatnot, and it'll get kind of shuffled to the head of the line, but it's just unfathomable how much stuff, because I'll get on Facebook and I'll share sometimes 5-6 memes a day. I'll share memes, I'll make memes, whatnot, and that's, memes make me smile and laugh at the absurdity of everybody. I'm an equal opportunity memer. I memed my mother yesterday, making fun of her. And she laughed about it because she's got a fantastic sense of humor. My sister laughed about it. My wife laughed about it. So, I laughed at Obama memes, I laughed at Biden memes, I laughed at Trump memes, and I've laughed at Sarah Palin memes. I've laughed at John McCain memes. Name them, I'll laugh at them probably. But with the apparent desire of certain people to shut down conservative viewpoints, and I know that there are news agencies that get caught in misrepresentation of the news, and I'm not even speaking about that. Suppose that every news agency was a percentage accurate, whether it's conservative or liberal leaning in its take on the news. Just suppose that they were all 95% accurate, just suppose. And everything else in the difference of their content was simply a difference of opinion on the news. I see no issue with letting all those news agencies say what's going on, state their opinion on it, and move on. And to my knowledge, Fox News did not have to spend a huge settlement with Nick Sandmann, CNN, in order to settle out of court for that, which I would have loved to have seen that go to court, but I don't blame him for not wanting to go. So the thing that I see happening is if the people that are calling for taking networks off the air and taking internet or taking websites off the internet that offer a counterpoint of view, not necessarily different facts, just a different point of view based on those facts, what I see happening long term is there are some people that know what you get in the bias at certain networks. I understand when I turn on Fox News, the political bias that's baked into the cake. I understand when I turn on CNN or MSNBC or ABC, the political bias that's baked into the cake. If tomorrow people started coming real hard after these networks, I understand, CNN's ratings are not great considering what they were a few years ago. And what I could easily see happening is a lot of people, suppose all the providers drop Fox and conservative-based news tomorrow. There would be some people that all they get is the news that would cancel their cable and satellite because that's what they pay for. They want to get, both points of view on the news, or even one point of view on the news. And if they can't get it there, there's no sense paying for it. So they would cancel the news, which would in turn hurt every other news agency because the overall revenue's down. So the cable providers couldn't pay as much to the networks for their content. If I'm getting the way all this works right, I don't know. I never got into television. I have a great face for radio. But anyway, that would cause a loss in revenue across the market. If Amazon and every other cloud hosting service started booting alternative internet voices off the internet, Rubin Report, The Blaze, Daily Wire, on and on and on, I could go down that list. But if they Timcast, if they started booting everybody else off the internet, they could probably all band together and form their own cloud hosting service for all of them. And people would start realizing the danger that, centralized control of the distribution of media poses. And so these companies could that if they did go that route, they could potentially shoot themselves in both feet going after their political adversaries. And if you really want to play this out long term, I don't see that as being good. Because, okay, suppose everything I said came to fruition. And, Fox couldn't get on your cable or satellite provider. You cancel your subscription. You go to the internet. They get pulled off the internet. All the other conservative voices get pulled off the internet. Well, guess what? Now they all come together, buy their own cloud streaming buy their own cloud hosting services and server farms, and have their own internet. And for one subscription fee of, $10, $15 a month, you can watch all these shows on the private internet. Plus, if Fox got taken off, presumably you could get all the Fox TV shows that are on too. Okay, so you can get some cable news, you can get podcasts, and you can get cable TV shows and some movies on Fox. Okay, great. And also probably all the movies that Fox ever put out. Great. Well, with all the revenue decline, you could theoretically see the actual collapse of left-leaning media, which I don't think would be good. I think that both sides should have a equal voice, so long as they are being honest in their presentation of the facts and honest in their opinions about those facts, in order to bring the news and to hold each side accountable. That's one thing that I wish happened in the news, is that the news agencies held people accountable. And I don't care whether it's a left or right-leaning news source. If you are of the same political alignment as the president, or any elected official for that matter, and they do something that is generally bad, not necessarily illegal, not necessarily wrong, but just bad image, you don't need to defend that. And that's why I like listening to news sources that aren't just 100% this or 100% that. Joe Biden always talked about affordable health care. Well, one of the things that he did is he put a stop to a thing that Trump had going into effect in March or April of this year that was supposed to help drive down insulin costs and epi costs. Biden stopped that. And the only network reporting on it is Fox. Everyone should report on it. If Biden did a thing that made more medicine cheaper to everybody, that would be a good thing, and everybody should report on that. If Biden did a thing that made medicine more expensive for everybody, that should be reported on just as well. My opinion. So, anyway, I think that both sides of the political media need to stay functioning in order to balance people's opinion, and I think that the demonization of everyone needs to stop. I think that media on both sides of the aisle have contributed to political tensions. I really do. So anyway, I guess that's what I got for this one. Good night. Wow. Glad that guy was in the other lane, otherwise I would have been a pancake.